So should be able to see me in there. Right, red, orange, and yellow guy. We're looking for the cold spots. They're going to be blue and black. We're always looking for them to move because we're always going to have blue and black in there, especially in temperatures like this. I believe you guys came in August last time, so it was nice and warm. But in temperatures like this, we're always going to have blue and black. And if the blue dot that's bouncing around the screen that shows us the coldest spot in the frame actually stands still, it means it just landed on a windshield, a sign, a can on the ground. I want that blue dot to move as well. So I want to say it said it was like 48 degrees out here for us ambient. I'm looking for 15 plus degree temperature drops. So it's going to be 33 degrees and colder. So you're going to find that in the camera, but more than likely it's going to be standing still. This captures 4 to 5 pieces per year that I'm going to put my stamp of approval on, not per episode. So again, I always like to give the stats when I'm handing out the equipment so you guys don't like, oh my God, we didn't get anything. Well, guess what? So did 99% of the other people that used it. This here, and then of course we'll spread out just like what we did here before, and I'll let you guys work, and then I'll kind of catch up with you 2 or 3 times as I'm monitoring the 2 devices that I'm working with and kind of see what's going on. If we have a lot going on, we'll hang out for a minute, and then we'll regroup and I'll give you all the answers to the questions. Remember, this is where I start withholding information. I'm not going to give you questions like what color is the big red barn. So you'll kind of see how this goes. Eliza and Charles Pinckney Mansion site was once here. Sat in the front of the space facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with 5 Church Restaurant and came all the way across, and we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. So that's the layout of the land. Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Chucks, in case you weren't paying attention. That's why we look for secondary clues. In the event you hear the name Charles, I need to know which one it is so I know how to address them. They are all 3 different men. So it's a big deal that the son and the nephew are signers of the Constitution. You know, big deal for South Carolina. I hate politics, especially weeks like this. But we're going to move on. Eliza. She married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I say it slowly because if you're going to ask her, don't expect numbers from the colonial days from when she came from. Think of today's standards because her husband was over double her age when they married. Sorry, that probably brings up a bad little piece for you, doesn't it? No, sorry, I didn't even mean to think of it that way. I was kind of like, oh, damn. But anyway, so...
It is what it is.
It is, unfortunately. And I've been through an ugly divorce, so I understand exactly what you're going through. So, yeah.
I'm good.
How long ago was that, by the way? Like, what you're going through?
It's not even...
September 2nd was when I found out.
Yeah. It's not even finalized yet.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
we're still going through
When you're in South
all the
Carolina, it
things,
takes a while. Yeah, mine took...
Because of what I'm going for.
Mine took over a year.
Yeah.
So, before it was final. And then I married my wife that I have now 2 days after that because they pretty much forced me to. So, see, they weren't going to... Long story short, they weren't going to allow her to even meet my daughter unless we were married.
It feels weird to be talking to the air.
It does.
But not much. I'm watching.
I seen that girl walk through.
Yeah, I kept it down and noticed her.
that has anything to do with it.
That you know of. So tomorrow I might have somebody that's from Memphis. It predicts a lot of things. You tell me. I see a 54 by time of year. You know what I mean? It would say things like that. But I look for the weird cities though, like Memphis. Like I'll write down Memphis for sure, just to see if it's going to match up with anything. Bloody Memphis, apparently. See what's going on. I'm getting weird numbers.
Oh, that's... What is... Can you look here for a second? What is this?
That's the water in front of you.
No, like there's this line. Or is that the reflection?
It might be a
'Cause it's-
reflection.
Yeah.
I definitely see what you're looking at. Lower your camera and get the sky out of it. Just like tilt it this way. There you go.
Yeah, it's still there.
Okay, so it's definitely heat. See where it's reddish in color?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that it's not something. And you are recording, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so
it
I
is
would stop it
recording.
and restart it just so we don't lose that loop.
That's strange. Yeah, that's strange. Yeah, whatever that thing was that we caught over here is gone now.
What was that? I'm sorry, I had it up.
I'm getting good spikes on this, but what you're calling here, none of it makes any sense. Charles, now, maybe. I mean, then you have to between.
Seven twice.
That makes sense. That means we probably need to move on. Brutal. I like the word right, and it's not something I normally bring up unless we get something like that. I want something else to go along with it. But the doctor I'm about to tell you about was also a writer. So he actually wrote poetry while he was here, and his sister published his poetry after his death. So that's actually something you can buy on Amazon. I read it, cover to cover. With yours, I want you to turn the volume all the way down and unplug your headphone, because we're going to plug it into something else. You can slide that spirit box into your pocket if you want. We're going to keep it going. But you're going to be playing with a new device you guys probably haven't seen yet. We're going to need the windscreen for it. So, Tim, you might be interested in this guy. This is a crazy voice recorder. Like, you're going to hear things from ghosts in the cold. But I'm just going to give you some extra details because you're ghost hunting, and I'm hoping that our devices are going to pick up on that. So here's how the story goes. A doctor moves here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. If your spirit box picks up the song Brown Eyed Girl while we're here, it's not coincidence. It's part of his name. We get it all the time. So Doc moves here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée Amanda. She just inherited a lot of money from her dead parents, and she has an attorney helping her out with all of the cash flow. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. He tells her to get rid of the doctor. So he comes here to basically prove he's not after the cash. On his way down here, he had a coachman that set him up to be robbed and killed, like having a really bad Uber driver in today's world. But anyway, somebody was walking by and seen what was about to happen to the newcomer, and he basically stopped him. His name was Ralph Isaacs. He also has the same initials as where the doctor came from, R.I. We used to use another device that I broke. You guys may have seen it before, but it was an Envoy. It was a little, and you'll be safe. Doc took him up on the offer. They became friends. The longer the doctor stays here in Charleston, the more money he's making. Proving his point, not after Amanda's cash. He's making his own. She got wind of this. She wrote him a letter saying she was on her way down so they could be married, and Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor. This is why I hate the damn story. It's a giant cliche. Every haunted city you will ever visit, it's going to have a whistling ghost. It's just like the Lady in White. We all have one. You're listening for and kind of whistles in the background. We're in Dueler's Alley talking about this happy, jovial doctor because he did have a duel. Let's get into that. Him and Ralph used to go see plays together. They couldn't sit next to each other because the doctor made more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. They got better seats. So they go see Richard III. Started arguing over the actress they just saw. Doc thought she was great, Ralph didn't. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiance back home in Rhode Island. They got really ugly between the two of them. That was my phone, by the way, if you were wondering.
I was going to say, I'm not sure if I need to tell you that.
Yeah, that was my phone.
It was loud.
And your ears, it was loud. We just kind of heard a normal jingle.
Yeah.
So anyway, they argued and then they went their separate ways, and the next day Ralph went to the newspaper and placed an ad telling the whole city of Charleston what he thought of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of shit. Doc saw the ad, rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this. They came down here, took their 10 paces away from each other. They turned and Doc pointed his gun in the air and shot. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just needed the courage to show up. That's often what happened at a duel. Whistling part of a song, and then the word doctor from a commercial immediately after. It happens all the time. I probably get at least 2 dozen of them a year. So take that for what it's worth. And it's usually around the same timestamp of when we're here. I don't look for it. My, I guess, spot checking process is every 5 minutes to 1 minute. So every, like I listen to minute 1, minute 5, minute 10, 15, 20, you get the point. That way I'm not biased towards looking for something specific. And I don't want to validate the things you heard. We take those things at face value and we move on. So that's kind of how this goes. So if you walk all the way through here, which you're probably not because you're going to be leaving here tomorrow, use your voice recorder from your phone, but just remember every ghost tour or every local knows the story. You know, so anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street, we all throw a whistle down this alley.
I remember you telling us that.
Did I also tell you guys how we got kicked out of here?
I don't.
All the way through, the way we came in. There used to be a wall up there. The reason why I stopped right here at the gate is because it's almost the exact halfway point from where the wall used to be from here to the street. But anyway, the reason why there was a wall there is because it was called Cow Alley. This is where they kept all the livestock for the city of Charleston. And the reason I'm telling you this is because those bricks down there by Queen is where they started, you know, basically building this alley, and they over a couple of 100 years to what we're standing on. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there in one of those bricks.
Something, yeah, because you showed it to us, or something in one of the bricks. Is this
Showed
the
you?
same? Or was,
No, I
maybe
couldn't.
not.
No,
Maybe
because
not.
I got kicked out of here in 2020.
okay. There was something.
We might have did. I think we did a different tour one
Was
time.
that a different tour, maybe?
So I think
if
we
you did
did.
a daytime tour, they may have taken you by it.
Okay. Because I swear I've heard that story.
I used to take my folks down there for a history lesson. There was nothing paranormal about it. You know how I feel about cemeteries. That kid's not staring at that brick in the afterlife.
Yeah.
Right? So especially if he grew up to be an adult, right? So November 26th of 2020, I took my entire group down there after telling them about it, and I usually just pointed it out and we would move on. Well, they all stopped. I had a full group of 10. It's the week of Thanksgiving, so I'm sold out almost every night. And I'm like trying to rush them along because I know nothing's going to happen. And secondly, we're standing outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of this alley. Well, my daughter was on the tour that night, and the owner of that mansion came out screaming his head off at me. My daughter thought it was great. You know, she's about 14 years old, and her dad's getting yelled at right in front of her. She's all about it. We moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on holidays. I worked upper management for Walmart before doing this. You guys fight over towels. You scarred me for life. I don't do holidays ever. They actually just reviewed the 2025 schedule again to make sure I had every holiday, especially drinking holidays, off. Because I'm not coming down here for that. I think I probably did a pirate story with you guys last time with Dan Bonnie. Well, we're no longer allowed in that space. But before we left this space that particular night, I didn't tell them who we were going to be investigating, but somebody heard the name Ann on a spirit box. Normally, if I tell you we're going to be looking into pirates, most people think of Blackbeard, right? Especially it's a male and it's Blackbeard, not a female redheaded Irish pirate. But anyway, I was like, all right, maybe we'll get something. I took them around the corner, and somebody else heard the number 300. I didn't know what that meant, so I wrote it down. I did the research. We were there on November 28th of 2020, and Bonnie's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720, the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial.
Oh.
Wow.
So to the down to the day?
Down to the day.
Oh,
Now,
brother.
with that, I was actually kind of pissed off. Like, dude, pirates are not my thing. Here's